Humanity stood at the brink. Across the cosmos, the Galactic Council had labeled them the stubborn species, a backhanded recognition of their refusal to surrender in the face of annihilation. Alien empires, vast and ancient, had grown weary of humanity's relentless push into contested space. The Coalition, an alliance of these empires, united under a singular goal: to crush humanity. Inside the War Council chamber of the UNS Resolute, a heavy silence hung in the air. Leaders from Earth's fractured factions sat grim-faced, reviewing grim holos of their fallen colonies. Each projection showed destruction: a burning skyline, the remains of an orbital defense grid, or the last broadcast of terrified civilians before the feed cut to static. It was a recurring nightmare, played on loop. Admiral Vance, his voice worn from days of heated debates, leaned forward, his hands gripping the edge of the table. "Conventional warfare is no longer an option," he growled. "They outgun us, outnumber us, and they've had millennia to perfect strategies we've barely begun to understand." "Then what do you suggest?" asked a senator, her tone biting. "That we roll over and die." No, the voice came from Dr. Elena Kovacs, a geneticist whose expertise had earned her a seat among generals and politicians. "We don't play their game. We play ours." Eyes turned to her, some skeptical, others desperate. She activated her holopad, projecting an image of Earth, a green and blue orb marred by scars of past conflicts. The image zoomed in, morphing into an animated timeline of Earth's evolution. "For billions of years," Kovacs began, "Earth has been the crucible of life, a death world by every galactic standard. Our planet forged creatures capable of surviving the harshest conditions, predators that ruled ecosystems, and prey that outwitted them. Even in our technological age, we struggled to tame the remnants of these ecosystems. Now, imagine the apex predators of Earth's past, the ones we only know from fossils and myths, at our side in this war." Her words hung in the air, daring the room to visualize the impossible. "You're proposing resurrecting extinct animals?" a general asked, disbelief etched across his face. "Not just animals," Kovacs corrected. "Predators. The most efficient killing machines Earth ever produced. Saber-toothed cats, titanoboa, even the megalodon. With the genetic sequencing technology we've acquired from the Zanai, it's not just possible, it's practical." The room erupted. Some voices were outraged, others intrigued. Arguments flew about the morality, feasibility, and unpredictability of unleashing such creatures. "Do you know what you're suggesting?" a council member shouted. "Bringing back monsters humanity eradicated for a reason." "They weren't eradicated," Kovacs countered. "They went extinct due to environmental changes we had no control over. These creatures aren't our enemies. They are Earth's legacy. And if we want to survive, we need to embrace the raw, untamed power of our homeworld." Admiral Vance raised a hand, silencing the chaos. He stared at Kovacs for a long moment, then nodded. "Do it. But if this backfires, the blood's on your hands." Kovacs met his gaze, unflinching. "If it works, Admiral, it'll be on all of ours." The battlefield was chaos incarnate. A human colony on the fringe of space burned under relentless assault from the Coalition's advanced forces. Alien mechs, towering constructs of metal and plasma, marched through the remains of defensive fortifications. Drones swarmed overhead, raining fire onto human troops pinned behind crumbling cover. It was a scene of inevitable defeat. Then came the roar. From the dense underbrush of the nearby forest, a pack of saber-toothed cats emerged, their sleek forms moving with lethal precision. Their enhanced bodies shimmered with adaptive camouflage, making them nearly invisible as they stalked their prey. The first strike was a blur. One of the creatures leapt onto an alien mech, its claws carving through reinforced plating as though it were tissue. The mech staggered, its pilot scrambling for control, but the beast's jaws clamped onto its core, ending the struggle in a burst of sparks. The Coalition forces hesitated, their ranks breaking as terror birds charged from the tree line. The massive predators moved with unnerving speed, their talons slicing through alien soldiers like scythes through wheat. One bird vaulted over a barricade, its carbon-reinforced beak smashing into the chest of an alien officer. The creature let out a guttural call that echoed across the battlefield, sending fear rippling through the enemy ranks. Above the chaos, a shriek sounded, a sonic wave so powerful it shattered the drones hovering in the sky. This was no random attack. The animals coordinated with precision, their neural implants linking them to human commanders. It was as though they had become extensions of the soldiers themselves. But the megalodons stole the show. In the nearby sea, coalition forces had deployed a massive aquatic carrier, a fortress of technology meant to secure their naval dominance. The waters beneath the carrier churned violently before the beast emerged, its colossal form dwarfing the alien vessel. It breached, jaws wide, and slammed into the carrier's side. The impact was catastrophic, splitting the vessel in two. As alien aquatic drones tried to counterattack, the megalodon swatted them away with effortless strikes of its tail. For the human troops, the tide of battle shifted rapidly. The creatures pushed back the coalition forces, sowing panic and disorder among the enemy ranks. Soldiers rallied, taking advantage of the chaos to secure key positions and destroy remaining enemy strongholds. Yet, not all was under control. One of the terror birds, caught in a frenzy, turned its attention to a group of human soldiers. Its handler shouted commands through the neural link, but the creature hesitated, its primal instincts battling against artificial obedience. Before it could act, a saber-toothed cat intervened, pouncing on the bird and pinning it down. The brief clash underscored the uneasy balance between control and chaos that humanity's new weapons represented. By the time the dust settled, the battlefield was unrecognizable. Alien forces had been decimated, their remaining units retreating in disarray. Victory had been achieved, but as the surviving creatures prowled the smoking ruins, blood dripping from their jaws, it was clear this was no ordinary triumph. Humanity had unleashed something primal and unpredictable, a force of nature that could just as easily destroy them as it did their enemies.